We see a man digging in the ground. Once he finishes, he leaves a bracelet on a branch. Then we see a car riding along a road. Elijah opens a mail that invites Joplin Rose to a place called the Stoffen House. The two people in the car talk about the house as they ride. They stop when they observe a standing truck along their way. Elijah searches around, but finds no one. Shortly after, the hood of the truck slams down to startle him. Elijah sees a man looking at him and asks if he needs help, but the man just stares. That causes Elijah to start leaving. As he does, the creepy man grabs Elijah to ask him where he's going. Joplin comes out, wanting to know what is going on. The man says he's sorry, before ripping off Elijah's necklace and running away with it. The duo is confused by such an encounter. In the next scene, they arrive at the house. A man named Joe meets Joplin near the entrance. They converse about each other's professions, until Elijah comes forth. Joe introduces himself to him. Elijah does the same, though his introduction is not as glamorous. Hearing that he is a business owner, Joe says he may have something for him later. Elijah is delighted to hear such a statement. After that, a flashy lady arrives, named Tara. She sees Joe there, which instantly makes her throw insults at him. He does the same to her. However, she has the opposite reaction to meeting Joplin. After talking to her, Tara gets into a slightly awkward conversation with her boyfriend because he isn't famous. Alone with Joplin, Elijah expresses his awe by being with famous people. When they enter the house, Joe keeps arguing with Tara, who it turns out is his ex-wife. Elijah finds Joe's book at the entrance, which makes him talk about part of it with the party. Tara is unimpressed. Joe clarifies by saying you can make a deal with the devil as long as you win the deal. Soon enough, someone starts talking from above, causing the group to witness who it is. The man introduces himself as Dr. Frost. After welcoming them to the Stoffen House, he tells them this will be a 3-day journey, during which their lives will be altered. They are there to discover their potential. Meeting them closer, the doctor recites a passage from the Bible. He informs the group that since birth, people live in shame. To love the world is to sin. However, at the Stoffen House, they will not live in such shame. After his speech, Frost tells them where their rooms are. Since Elijah is not in a room with his girlfriend, he stops Frost to tell him he wants them to stay together. But the doctor tells him he can't do that, because they must stay in solitude. Afterward, Elijah is left alone with Tara. She asks him an indecent question regarding her appearance. He doesn't know how to properly answer it. Then she wants to know his reason for being there. He tells her they are there because he wants to marry Joplin and have a family with her, though she is having a hard time with this desire of his. Tara responds that Joe is going to try getting intimate with Joplin. In his room, Elijah looks at a ring he has ready for his girlfriend. Following that, he steps outside his room. He wanders for a short time until he finds an elevator. After using it, he walks through a strange place. It makes him appear outside the house, where he hears someone screaming. He calls out to the person, but reappears in the passageway. Shortly after, he appears near a lake. He digs with a shovel there. Back at the house, he hears the doctor arguing with someone. Elijah notices the man look in his direction, which prompts him to rush back to the elevator. Soon, he goes back into his room. In there, Frost appears to grab him by his neck. He says he does not like people spying around to listen to his secret. He also says Elijah is not ready, but will be slaughtered soon. Right after that, he wakes up from the nightmare. Joplin is there with him. She informs him that Frost wants them all to meet outside. Elijah is the last to join the group outside near the fire. Frost starts saying that in the middle of the night, his mother drowned him. Elijah questions what came after the drowning. The doctor just tells him he is no longer drowned. He follows those words by telling them to not take pride in themselves. He wants them to focus on their sin and share it. Joe shares his, followed by Tara sharing hers. However, when the doctor asks Joplin to share, she does not want to. Frost responds that she is not ready, which is okay. On Elijah's turn, he says he tries to live morally. The doctor wants Joplin to play one of her songs. Joe wants her boyfriend to play too. He calls him by the wrong name, which makes Elijah uncomfortable. Tara teases him for it. Then all of them urge Elijah to play. So the man starts playing the guitar while he sings with Joplin. He soon takes over completely, getting invested in his performance. As he does, we observe the man from earlier walking toward them from the woods. He points a gun at Elijah, but does not fire it. He just walks away, unseen. After Elijah's performance, Tara expresses how much she loves his voice. The group tells him to take pride in his song, though he has a hard time doing it. Soon enough, he gives in, saying it's a great song. He even says it's better than some of Joplin's recent songs. This sparks an argument between the couple. It concludes with Joplin deciding to go to bed. Elijah goes after her, but the doctor stops him. Left alone with Joe, Elijah tells him he doesn't trust Frost. Joe states he could be a con man. Following that, they talk upstairs. Joe tells him he wasn't always rich. He got that way by cheating the devil. He also offers to buy Elijah's car business for $2.5 million. The reason is that he likes him, along with his talent. Elijah seems excited, yet wants to talk to Joplin first. Shortly after Joe leaves, Elijah collapses. He has a dream about him digging again. We see him covering his girlfriend with dirt. Waking up from that odd dream, he finds himself in the room with the 3 paintings. Afterward, he finds Tara in a pool. He asks her where Joplin is. The lady tells him she went to get drinks with Joe. Elijah tells her he lost consciousness last night, something she knows about. She states she and Joe found him like that. At that point, he asks where Frost is. Tara semi-mockingly replies he is exploring the 3 great sins. She follows up by asking if he wants to spend time with her, to which the man declines. He goes to the entrance of the house, where he sees the strange man. His presence causes Elijah to chase after him. As they run, the man falls, allowing Elijah to come within proximity. The man tells him he can't stop it, without clarifying what he means. He runs away once he utters those words. Elijah finds himself standing near a lake. We see it is just like the sequence from his dream. We also see his necklace hanging on a branch. Coming back to the house, he sees Joplin getting out of a car with Joe inside. She wants to know what he's doing there. He says he's just walking. Then Joe comes out to ask about that deal again. Elijah politely declines it. He runs into Frost, who asks if he's enjoying his stay. However, Elijah thinks he might leave. To that, the doctor tells him he either seizes his chances, or he will have a mediocre life. Subsequently, Elijah comes to Joe, telling him he changed his mind about the deal. Joe hesitates for a short time due to being declined, but agrees to do it. He also gives Elijah the keys to his car. After that, he enters his room and starts talking to Joplin. We see that it's Tara there, massaging him. When she tells him his girlfriend is being intimate with Joe, he gets surprised by her presence. Tara asks him if Joe offered him a deal or money. Elijah's reaction lets her know that he did. At that moment, she tells him that's what Joe does to people he screws over. Elijah believes she's lying, yet she states to have video proof of it. The seductive lady then starts getting intimate with him. While they engage in the act, we see the painting of lust receive its focus. The nightmare of him covering Joplin with dirt returns to Elijah, among other memories. In the dirt, Joplin calls out to him for help before he wakes up. Upon doing so, he notices he's alone. Elijah finds Tara's phone and starts watching her videos. What he discovers is that she's been at the Stoffen house multiple times, yet always acting like it's her first visit. He also finds that one man from the group of visitors is the strange man from the woods. While Elijah watches, Tara stands behind him with an axe. She swings at him, but he evades her attacks. Following that, the proper decision to take is to flee from the house, which is what he attempts to do. The front door, however, is locked. Even worse, as he tries going downstairs, he mysteriously descends from upstairs to the same location. Joe meets him with a hunting rifle, causing Elijah to run to the elevator. In the strange passageway, the doctor's voice appears to tell him he committed 3 sins in less than 2 days. He also can't let Elijah escape. Shortly after, he enters a room where he finds Joplin sitting. She says she was not honest with him while holding a knife. She also says that her grandmother sold her when she was young. Tara's great-grandfather did the same thing, but Joe sold his. Joplin continues to say that making a deal with the devil has its requirements. They get summoned to renew the deal. Someone pure needs to be, or else they get sent to hell. Elijah asks her who she is there to, and she looks at him. It causes her to cry, but she doesn't want to go to hell. That is when Joe appears to knock out Elijah. In the next scene, he awakens, finding himself getting carried in a wheelbarrow. The group informs him that they do this every year. He is their 17th victim. At that point, Elijah tells Joplin that he bought her a ring. This seems to affect her enough to stab Tara and Joe. She sets Elijah free, making him run away. In a short while, she follows him as they run from the other two. They reach an edge, where Joplin tells her boyfriend he has to hide until midnight to survive, though he wants her to make it out as well. Once she tells him there is a way out, Tara appears to take her life away. Elijah watches her do it, while getting the vision of himself covering Joplin with dirt. Then he runs from Tara. She searches for him as he hides. Who ends up finding him, though, is the strange man. He wants Elijah to come with him. He brings him back to the house, causing Elijah to wonder why. The man informs him he was just like him, but he escaped. When Elijah questions why he's still at the Stoffen house, the man tells him that someone won't let him leave without specifying who. He has been there for 9 years. He wants Elijah to stall them until the last moment. After he does that, revolted by that plan, Elijah points the gun he gave him at the man. He follows by getting in the car and driving away. After driving for hours, he stops the car at night. He looks over to see the house. He sees the house again after driving backward. This brings him great confusion. Then he gets a vision of the man who tried helping him, about to get. Yet Joplin lets him go. Once she does, Frost comes to Elijah to tell him he can still save Joplin. When Elijah tells him she lost her life, the doctor says she didn't yet. He can take her place. Following that nightmare, he wakes up in the car. He goes back to the house to enter the secret room. In there, he finds a family tree that starts with a person named Wagner Moulton, someone who shares Elijah's last name. His descendant is supposedly the person they're all looking for in order to be set free. Elijah discovers he is the descendant. Once he does, an injured Joplin appears to meet him. She states they can only pass away if they don't renew the contract. She also says Frost was a human hundreds of years ago. He summoned the devil with his friend, who they tricked. His friend was Wagner. Frost appears there to confirm her words. At that moment, Elijah realizes they did not bring him there to end his life. They did so to trade for theirs. Joplin apologizes to him, telling the man he has to leave. Joe and Tara arrive to disagree with what Joplin is doing, but she tells them they don't deserve their freedom. Elijah, having had enough, points the gun at, threatening everyone to. By doing so, he has a chance to escape. Outside, he sees the man tied up in a wheelbarrow, yet ignores him and drives away again. While he drives, the doctor's voice haunts him on the radio. He yells for the voice to go away. Afterward, he finds certain papers that seem to affect him rather strongly. We do not see what is on them. The next scene has him coming back to the group, pointing his gun at them. Joplin steals Tara's rifle to point at them too. Elijah tells Joe to untie the man, so he obeys him. When the man runs away, Elijah decides to sign the contract. Joplin doesn't want him to do it, but he insists. He says he loves her. Then Frost enters, bringing with him the contract. About to sign it, Elijah asks Joplin if she will marry him once all this is over. She says she will, adding that she loves him. What comes next is both Elijah and Joplin saying the words, "more than you ever know," simultaneously. Elijah says the possible statements the others would have said. He guesses their tactics. Not about to sign anymore, he returns to pointing the gun at them. While he does, he tells Joplin that she knew he would never sell his soul if she asked him. She knew he would play the hero because it is his weakness. He read her script in Joe's car. After that, he asks his girlfriend if she ever loved him. She answers that she did. Upon hearing that, Elijah runs away, while Tara and Joe run after him. Joplin shoots her rifle. We see that she shot the other two. Elijah comes back to witness that Joplin is lying shot as well. Frost appears to cause trouble, but soon starts bleeding. The devil claims him for being too late. On the next day, Elijah makes graves for all of them. We see he left his engagement ring near Joplin's grave. Eventually, a limo arrives for Tara. Elijah tells the driver she's gone, but asks if he can drive him home instead. We see him riding inside, where he says he learned a lot during his visit. He wrote a new album, which he believes will be great.